My next guest is a Northeast Nebraska native whose love for art prompted him to open Voodoo Tattoo and Body Piercing in 2016. Tony, thanks for making time to be here today.
Hey, thanks, guys, for inviting me.
No problem. I'm Zach Miller with my co-host Vance Sat.
Nice to meet you, Tony.
Nice to meet you.
And we are touching base with Tony Meyer today. Let's get a little bit of background on you. Are you originally from Norfolk?
I grew up in Norfolk, but I was actually born in Missoula, Montana.
Oh, okay.
And so when I was 4, we moved back because I believe it was my dad worked for a lumber company that had closed. And so he ended up getting a job at Volcraft. And we came back. He got like the call from one of my uncles. And 2 days later, we were back in Nebraska.
Really? That's kind of a cool story.
That's crazy.
So how long were you in Montana then?
Till I was 4.
Till you were 4? That's kind of a cool area though. Up there.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it was Missoula, Montana. It's right there in the Rockies.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Kind of sad you had to leave, or
at that age, I didn't really remember much. But I did go to school in Denver.
Oh, really?
So I was right in the Rockies, and I did really, that was not the best moment of my life coming back to Nebraska.
I'm sure it wasn't.
I love Nebraska, but getting up every morning, looking to the west and seeing the Rocky Mountains, it's just
something else.
Cool.
Yeah.
The temperature's a lot milder in Denver too.
Oh, it's
amazing. You can have 10 feet or a foot of snow, and then it's 60 degrees in the middle of the afternoon.
So. Oh yeah. Actually, the first day I had moved to Denver, we got 22 inches of snow, and I thought, where the hell did I just move to? But by noon that day, it was gone.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, they do a wonderful job, and there's something about that elevation. It just melts that snow off real fast.
That sun gets really warm as long as there's no cloud cover.
Right.
Yeah, it's great up there. I do enjoy it over by the Rockies. So as far as Norfolk, how much has the city changed over the years for you? A lot?
I would say no, not really.
Yeah.
I had been abroad for a while. I was a graphic designer for 20 years. Came back to Nebraska, and I remember my son was in high school in Osmond, Nebraska, and I remember going to some of the restaurants, and they hadn't changed since I was a junior in high school, Taco John's, Ricardo's, things like that. I mean, they're exactly the same as they were, when I left. So,
right.
No, I wouldn't say there's been a ton of change. I've been in one of my first jobs when I got out of art school was in North Platte. And I've been back a couple times through, and it has really changed. But Norfolk, not really so much.
I'd probably have to agree with you as far as like over that long period of time. It's slowly starting to, but we're not quite to the big growth and change yet.
Right.
So where'd you go to high school?
Norfolk High School.
Norfolk High? Mm-hmm. Any sports or activities or anything?
Football and track. My junior year, I blew my knee out. I think we were playing Columbus. And that was pretty much the end of my sports in high school anyway. And I did play some semi-pro ball when I was in Denver.
Oh, really?
Yeah, with the Aurora Panthers.
What,
I don't believe it around anymore.
What position did you play?
Offensive tackle.
Offensive tackle. And we had the Law Dogs here in town for a while.
Yeah, I was a sponsor for one season, yeah.
That was kind of a cool thing to have around here for a little bit.
Yeah.
So how was your time playing there then?
Oh, it was great. Hectic, full-time going to school, full-time working, and then doing that on the side. And we had, 3 kids.
Right.
So
at that time, yeah. It makes it a little tough. So
busy. How
did you make your decision to attend the Colorado Institute of Art in Denver?
It was crazy. I had gone to school at Northeast, got a couple degrees there. I think I was working odd jobs for a while there. I think I was working with a roofing company here in Norfolk, and I met a guy that had gone to school there, had been in a car accident and had to leave. And we went out one weekend, an extended weekend, and did a tour of the school. And I always wanted to be a comic book artist. And they told me, yeah, we do that. No, they didn't do it. It was graphic design.
Yeah.
And they had a bunch of other stuff, fashion design, photography, cooking, a few other things. But yeah, and my first trip to Denver, it was just like, oh my God, look at this.
I love it here.
Yeah. It was before it got really crazy and stupid out there. So it was a better time, I think, there. So
when did your love for art start then? The comic book stuff?
I was drawing since I think it was 4. Was in the kindergarten and got some stuff got sent to state, won some ribbons.
Oh, really?
Oh, it was horrible stuff, but you're a kid, And then I think, I'm a Gen Xer, and so you were to be seen, not heard.
Yeah.
And so if you wanted to get attention, it wasn't through, screaming and yelling and acting up. For me, it was through drawing. And I started drawing, I think it was Peanuts cartoons from the newspapers. And
That's really cool.
Yeah, I did a lot of Snoopies and Charlie Browns, and then it ended up being Andy Cap and things like that, and Beale Bailey, and all the family was like, oh, these are so great. And it was just like, oh, okay, there's my attention. That's what I needed. So, I just kept drawing, and it just snowballed from there.
Is that Art Institute a 4-year institution?
It was a 2-year.
2-year.
They did end up going 4. But that was after my time. And I actually believe that school closed, at least the one in Denver. And I don't know if there were several across the United States, but I know the one in Denver is no longer there.
Oh, that's too bad. As far as the classes, you said graphic design. Was there any other classes that interested you? Were you taking anything else while you were there?
Yeah, it was strictly that. There was a lot of life drawing classes, painting, just anything art you can imagine. So, and that was about the time computers started to take a big role. And so it was a lot of desktop publishing that was all on a computer. Before, it was all kind of hand done.
I was going to ask you that. So was that right in that transition time then?
Yeah.
So you were learning one thing and then had to learn a whole nother aspect of it?
Yeah. We used, learned how to do things, cut and paste, and then, transition that over into the computer. It was really crazy because they didn't even have, printers and stuff like that then. Right. And so you'd have to take it to, I forget even what they call them. It was a service bureau. I guess that's what we call a service bureau. You take in your information on a disk, and then they would make a print of that. Huh. Yeah, it was like really crazy.
A early version of Kinko's and Office Max and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Now you can do it on your iPad with a little pen and everything.
Right.
It's crazy.
Your phone even.
Yeah, your phone too. Yeah. It's kind of crazy. I think that's not that long ago. Just much has changed.
Yeah.
It's crazy being in a transition too. You got to see both sides. That's kind of a cool little thing. Not many people get that.
Oh, I remember when I was at Northeast, we were using those, floppy disks.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Then went to the little cassettes, and then, it's just crazy to think what you can put on a little thumb drive the size of your pinky now. Right. Is insane.
It's nuts. As far as your experience up there, were you there for the 2 years then?
I was there almost 3 years.
3 years.
And after I got out of school, I was recruited by the North Platte Telegraph, which was the newspaper there. I went to work there, and I think
in Denver,
in North Platte.
North Platte.
And a friend of mine that we graduated together, he went down too, but he's a Colorado native. He wasn't quite understanding the whole Nebraska thing. Yeah. The interesting thing about that too is Nebraska, North Platte, Nebraska, anyway, I should say, sits right in this specific spot where, as storm systems come across the Rockies, they dump all their energy. And as they roll across the plains, they build back up. Yeah. And North Platte would always be the one to get dumped on. Yeah. The most insane electrical and hailstorms you've ever seen.
Oh my gosh.
I'd have friends from Denver come out and they go, where the hell did you move to? Oh my God. Every weekend it was just some crazy storm. So, yeah, I was going to say, I think within 6 months at the Telegraph, I became what was called the lead creative services rep. And so I did that for about 9 years.
So you moved up pretty quick.
Yeah.
So what's a lead creative services rep do?
So at that time they had, I think 6 salespeople, and there was a manager that oversaw all of us. And then there were 4 creative services people and art, graphic designers. And we worked in teams. So it'd be 1 for every 2. And I think it whittled down then when I got there to 3 graphic artists. So I had 2 salespeople I worked with, and then we had 2 other artists that worked with 4 other salespeople, and then I had to, kind of head up, make sure tasks were taken care of. Someone was gone, I was a fill-in. Sometimes you'd have national advertisers, pull their advertising for the day. You got to come up with fillers and stuff like that. I had to know all the ins and outs of how the computers worked, how we needed to get things to film so they get back to the press and be done. So, It was interesting. I mean, it really taught me a lot. You had to work with customers. A lot of times you worked with your salespeople through the customers. So your salesperson was the middleman. So you're not really fully getting the thing. So you had to be very intuitive. And I think that's really helped out in my business now, being intuitive like that, kind of being able to pick up what your customers are wanting done. Yeah. So
that's kind of a nice little, so you said 9 years there.
Yeah.
So then where'd you go from North Platte? Back here?
No, actually, I went up to South Dakota and worked for a printing company up there. I believe they don't exist anymore. It was a family company, had been around for.
So you just go somewhere and then they don't exist anymore and then you keep moving on?
Yeah. Well, the telegraph still exists, but everything else kind of hit the road. So I was, ended up becoming it was called a pre-press supervisor, where we were designers. We designed everything, before the newspaper was just black and white newspaper advertising. And this, was magazine, books, any printed material there is, they did everything, rack cards, brochures, newsletters for businesses, all sorts of things. So again, we were working with customers and, I think that helped refine that ability to listen to customers and pick through what you think they're looking for. And usually I want to say 99% of the time I'm pretty much right on target, but every once in a while you get someone like, well, that wasn't quite what I was thinking.
Right.
So I did that. I was up there 6 years. I was the, like I said, pre-press supervisor, which means I ran 3 other artists and everything that goes on in pre-press. There were actually 2 other positions there that had to do with the whole printing and plating process that we could get these things out to the press. So there was like 5 people I supervised, and then I kind of moved into a marketing division that was there, and we went around, did a lot of sales. So I used to wear a lot of suit and ties, which is why I wear jeans and t-shirts now. Yeah, I got real sick of that. And then I was also the creative director for a magazine called Motorcycle Events Magazine.
Okay.
And they still exist. They actually sold it to a company. I think they were out of maybe Wisconsin or something like that. And it's still around, I believe. So
that's pretty cool. You wore a lot of hats. Yeah.
A lot of fun.
Sounds like it. So you said you had the kids were with you in Denver?
Yes.
So when did you get married? Should probably talk about that.
Got married when I was in Denver.
Okay.
To my longtime girlfriend that was here. We had 1 child together. She had another child from a previous relationship. And then when we were out in Denver, my son was born. So there was 3 of us, moved back to Nebraska to be closer to her family. And then things kind of fell apart there. So I've been married a couple times.
That's okay. That's all right. So South Dakota, we're from South Dakota, there for 6 years.
Yep. 6 years there. And then it was around 2008 when we were just getting into the recession. I think gas up there was like $5 a gallon. Jeez. And I was like, yeah, this wasn't looking good,
Right.
I lived out in a suburb in the country, and I think just to fill my propane tank was like $1,300, $1,500. Yeah, I was just like, this is not sustainable. And I was thinking I really should get home. We were divorced, and I needed to be closer to my kids. My son was in high school. He was a junior. My daughter had graduated already. And so Dad finally comes home. She gets married and moves off to El Paso for a while. And
so you finally get back, and then they leave.
Yeah. And then my son gets out of school, gets a welding degree out at Northeast, and he joins the Army and goes to Germany for 4 years. So, yeah, that's the way that goes.
Huh. That's kind of cool. He went for welding, though. We talk about the trade school stuff all the time.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good thing. Is he still doing that now, or is he working with you?
No, my daughter works with me. She's one of the artists there. But my son, after he did his stint with the military, he got out and he works at the regional center.
Oh, okay.
In the sex offender unit. Yeah.
That's kind of a unique job. I know a few people that work out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it perfectly suits his military experience.
Right.
Yeah. Stand around.
And some of those inmates can get a little aggressive.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I've heard some horror stories.
Yeah, I've heard and seen. So I've tattooed a lot of people out there, so you hear a lot of things.
Yeah,
so,
I'm sure. Yeah, you kind of like the hairstylist where it's like a therapy session because you're there for so long.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I figured. So did you do any graphic design work here? So you moved back?
No,
to
not
08?
professionally. Yeah, what happened when I come back in 08 was, jobs were getting real scarce, and I had child support to pay. So.
Right. Yeah, bills don't go away.
No, bills don't go away. I was informed that Nucor was looking for architectural draftsmen. So I'd actually went out to Northeast, got enrolled right at the last minute, got in and did that. And then I was working at Walmart for about 2 years, I think it was. And then I got on at the vet's home. And because my daughter was working out there and they had some positions open. So I was out there for about 3 years while I was finishing up. I did my 2 years at Northeast, and the recession had gotten really bad. Nucor wasn't hiring. So I went up to Wayne State and was thinking about maybe getting into the construction management program. And the instructor I was talking to up there was like, well, this guy that was up there that was running that, they didn't think he was going to be around for long because things weren't working out really well with the program. And so he said, you ever thought about getting into education? And I was like, yeah, I actually had, because I'd always thought, of going back to art school. Because all those guys out there, it's sort of like a Northeast type deal. They were all former professionals, and they ended up coming up there and, and teaching and stuff. And that was probably one of the best school experiences I've ever had was up there in Denver. So I said, sure, that sounds like a really good idea. So I went through the program up there, got my undergraduate, and did my student teaching here at the high school.
Nice.
Yeah, it was interesting. Things have changed.
I'm sure. Yeah, they have. Definitely.
So got through that, and I ended up deciding I wanted to get my master's. So did my master's, got done with that. I think I did all this in 5 years, I think it was.
Wow.
Something like that. And yeah, I've got a stack of degrees. It's
I was going to say, you got a lot of degrees.
It's ridiculous. Was hired by the college to be an instructor. And but before the next semester had started, I got called by the president's office. Evidently, they had hired a new human resources director. And when they were going through the new hire files, evidently I was told that there was a committee that we didn't go before. I mean, we already had done 2 or 3 interviews or something. I guess their magic number's 4. And so they rescinded our contracts.
Oof.
And I had that last year of my master's was actually doing an apprenticeship tattoo. I got into tattoo late because the only reason I got into it was because my kids bugged me relentlessly. Oh, you got to get a tattoo, Dad. They're so cool. Come on, Dad, you need to get a tattoo. And I did. And then I was like, yeah, these are pretty cool. Right. And started drawing up my own stuff and taking it in. And yeah, they said, do you ever think about, becoming a tattoo artist? And I said, well, I'm doing this thing, but, I thought that was an interesting thing to get into. And so when this thing fell through with Wayne State, I was like, I think I'm just going to open my own shop. And actually it was, I will say it was August of 2015. I believe is when we started. So
my research was wrong.
Yeah, maybe off a year.
Dang it.
I think it was 15.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think next year is going to be our 10 year.
That's awesome.
So yeah, it's been great. Can't imagine not being your own boss.
Right. Where did the inspiration come for opening that? Just from the kids? Or just you talking about the tattoos there?
Yeah, I just think that a chance to finally have my own business.
Mm-hmm.
I had dabbled around one time when I was a graphic designer. Started a little thing. It's a lot of work when you got to go out and sell it.
Right.
I mean, the selling's 90% of it.
Right.
The designing the stuff is 10%. And it was, you had to go out and, hustle. And it's just, that's not me. And
the tattoo shop, they come to you.
Yeah. I mean,
to an extent.
Don't even have to advertise. My advertise is on their arms, you know? And, that's one of the things I think that's really different about people that do like cosmetic tattooing. If it's done correctly, nobody knows.
Right.
Whereas, you get a tattoo done, everybody's like, oh my God, what's that on your arm? Who did that? And so word of mouth got around real quick. And so things.
So you do cosmetic?
No.
Oh, okay.
But I know some people that do, and it's been rough. There's a lot of people out there that do it. Maybe not really well. Right.
Yeah.
But like I said, if it's done well, nobody knows because it's, eyeliner and, eyebrows and stuff like that. Whereas, if someone tattooed, an image on your face, they're probably going to notice that real quick.
Right. Are you sure?
Yeah.
No Mike Tyson, nothing like that.
Yeah, no Mike Tyson.
How difficult was your decision though to leave a steady job and go into your own business? Obviously, you wanted to be on your own, but was it a difficult decision?
No, not really. Been around long enough. Like I said, I was kind of an old dog by the time I got into this.
Right.
And had been around the block and knew a thing or two.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Just a few with all those degrees, right?
Yeah, with all the stupid degrees. Got me nowhere. Debt.
How they got you where you're at? You're all right.
Yeah, I mean, it was part of the journey that led me here. So,
Right. That's awesome.
yeah.
What have been some pros and cons of owning your own business?
Pros. I make the rules. So, I've got a really good work ethic though. I mean, if I have to call a customer and tell them I'm not going to be there today, it's because an emergency situation came up or I'm sick. And when I mean sick, I mean I can't get out of bed sick. So,
Right.
or the bathroom,
Right.
one or the other.
Yeah.
So, yeah, being your own boss is great. Making the decisions and whether they work or they don't, it's all on you.
Right.
That's great. Being able to choose the people you work with that have work with you is nice. Cons, no paid vacations. That really sucks.
Mm-hmm.
You think you get a great deal on a vacation and then you got to figure in all the money you lost while you were on vacation too.
Yep.
So whatever your vacation,
paid.
whatever your vacation costs, it costs you twice as much to not be there. So
And if you're running a business, then you're paying somebody else to be
Right.
there. So you're double losing money.
yeah, no sick days, no paid holidays. That's probably the worst.
I hear you there. That's the one I always say too. No paid vacations.
No paid vacations. Yeah.
And with yours, you're probably not making money if you're not there, right?
Well,
To an extent.
I'm not making as much money when
Right.
I'm not there, but I am pulling in, money off the other
right.
artists
yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff. So
Yeah, right.
that
I kind of
helps.
forgot about that. They kind of rent their space type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works. So at least you're making a little bit
Right.
when you're gone. How did COVID affect your business? Did it hurt, help?
Well, it was pretty frightening, if the government tell you can't work,
Mhm.
and it was like, and I knew we weren't the problem,
Right.
short of a surgical room. We're probably one of the cleanest facilities,
Right.
in town. And so, it really was tough. I had saved up some money, thank goodness, because our downtime was relatively short compared to the rest of the country. I think we were down 32 days or something like that.
Right.
And I got a call from my wife. Oh, we're able to come back to work Tuesday or whatever it was. And I was like, get out of here, And no, actually, I found a news channel and was listening. And the governor was saying you could. I was like, oh my God, no, COVID was like, a gold strike for us.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that
I
stimulus money. People were
sure.
going crazy. We were
Yeah.
booked out like 6 months,
Jeez.
solid. It
That
was
doesn't surprise me.
it was insane.
I think almost every person that we've interviewed on this show and talked about how COVID affected their business, I think everybody's had some sort of a positive outlook on it, except for maybe one person, but I cannot remember who it was.
Yeah. I wouldn't say positive outlook, turned it into a good thing.
Well, yeah, that's what I
worked
mean.
worked it
Yeah.
to where it was a decent thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess nobody said anything negative.
the mask and all that wasn't
Right.
the funnest.
Right. Did you guys have more regulations you had to do? I mean, you guys are already highly regulated anyway.
There
but
wasn't anything that
nothing
we
different besides the masks.
They made you guys wear masks.
Yeah, we had to wear masks. Customers had to wear masks. We were only allowed one person in the room, which is great for us. I mean, sometimes you get these entourages that can be very distracting, and most of the times not. But so that was kind of nice, just you and the client.
How'd that work with facial piercings? Obviously, they couldn't wear one, right?
Yeah, that's when they were allowed
Yeah.
to take them off if they were getting something done, on the face, right?
Yeah, that's just funny. Since is it really needed in the first place?
Yeah, exactly.
When it comes to being a tattoo artist or a body piercing, is there any special schooling you need to do, or is it just licensing?
Just licensing. Realistically, if a person wanted to go out there and mess some people up, you just go buy some machines off, Amazon or something like that and go attack people. But
I've heard some horror stories.
yeah, we've seen lots of horror stories. So no, usually you do an apprenticeship with an existing tattoo artist in a shop, and those can range.
But there's no like set parameters or anything?
No, not
so
in the state of
anybody
Nebraska.
can go get their license?
Absolutely.
Interesting.
Yeah, the state's just interested in their money.
Yeah.
That's what it really comes down to. You do like a safety class on first aid, and then there's a class on bloodborne pathogens.
Makes sense.
A check for some money. That's basically all you need.
Yeah, that's I would like to see how much the state makes on all licenses. Like
way too
money.
much.
Yeah. They think about all these licenses out there, you know.
Yeah, licensing and taxes. You know how much more?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Was most of your success word of mouth, or was there a marketing strategy involved?
Yeah, just word of mouth. I've done a little bit of advertising here and there. Someone will call, but you know, it's never really panned out. You know, it's strictly word of mouth. Our portfolios, you know, our work speaks for itself.
Yeah.
So
walking billboards, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you guys stay pretty busy then? I'm assuming.
Yeah, we're all busy. It's not the crazy days like it was in COVID where we were booked out 6 months, but I have noticed this year has been slower, and that's because the economy is just garbage. Yeah. It's horrible. Yeah, and people don't have that, you know, extra disposable income. We should be in the height of it right now. It's tax season or the end of tax season, and that's usually
when people start spending some money.
Oh yeah, I figure it's cars, TVs, and tattoos. You know, is usually where you see that money go to. But I mean, we've been steady, but it hasn't been crazy. Usually tax season, we are just hammered.
Really?
And it wasn't that way this year.
That's when you can definitely tell it's starting to hit everyone, is when things like that start to fall off a little bit.
Right.
And guessing with how long some tattoos take, you can only fit so many people in a day anyway, right?
Right.
Yeah. With some of those, with the tax money, do you see a lot of people start like a project, like a sleeve or something, and then they can't come back in and finish it for like a while? Or do people
not usually the tax season, but we did notice at the end of COVID when they quit giving those stimulus checks, you know, people had all sorts of excuses.
Half-done stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they'd schedule, but they, you know, they started making excuses why they couldn't come in. We require a deposit to get on the schedule to prevent things like that, because if someone doesn't show up for a tattoo, we don't get paid.
Right.
So you just sit there the day with nothing to do.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So you do deposits.
Yeah. So, because, you know, we've usually got some work already put into it. So, you know, drawing time, research time, things like that. So, yeah, you don't show up for your appointment, or you don't have a really good excuse, you lose your deposit. So it's non-refundable, non-transferable.
Right. With all the tattoos over the years, do you do more custom things, or do people pick out drawings that you guys have already done?
I think the people, well, we don't have a lot of flash. In fact, the flash I've got, I think I'm about getting rid of. Usually everything's kind of custom. There's so much stuff out there now on the internet. I mean, you can just, you know, pull all sorts of images off, put them in, you know, to Photoshop and layer them and do the things you need to do. And a lot of people, you know, see an item we don't have an issue with. Like, I want this flower that someone's already done. Yeah, no problem. We've had plenty of customers that have come in from other shops that, you know, would say, no, we're not going to do that like that. We're going to redo something, you know, and the customers usually like, that's not really what I wanted. And so we give them what they want.
That's good. I mean, got to give them what they want, right?
Right.
How many tattoos do you think you've done over the years?
Jeez, that's a good one.
I think you just told me this the other day, but I can't remember what you said.
I don't know. Myself personally, it's in the thousands.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. So it's crazy. I don't know. 6, 7, 8,000 tattoos. Yeah.
It's a lot of hours too, right?
Oh, insane amount of hours.
What's the longest session?
The longest session I've done, and anybody listening will never get this deal because I don't do that anymore. 14 hours.
Holy cow! In one sitting.
In one sitting.
What was it of? Like, what was the?
It was a back piece on a guy. He was a superintendent for one of these wind farms, and they were leaving, and so we had to wrap it up. And so I said, "Okay, here we go."
14 hours.
14 hours.
That is so long.
It was. I remember it was on a Halloween, because we were doing a Halloween special, one of those, you know, cheapo get in the door type deals, and we were just hammered. I only had one tattoo, and then I think it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, I did 2, and so we got out of there like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Holy cow!
Yeah, it was a long day.
That's crazy.
No lunch, no dinner, just
I couldn't sit for 14 hours, let alone tattoo for 14 hours.
Does your hand get like, are you starting to get any kind of like hand problems at all?
Well, yeah, I've got arthritis.
Yeah.
And I think at that time I even had carpal tunnel going.
I was going to ask you that.
And I had for several years. The first 2 or 3 hours of every day was my hands were on fire.
Right.
Literally, they felt like your hands were in flames. But yeah,
because you're staying in like the same position pretty much, right? The whole time with the
just like if you'd be drawn, but with something heavier and larger
and something that moves.
Yeah.
Do you find it harder? Like, is that hard? Do a lot of people move when you're tattooing?
Oh, yeah. You get some that just sit like a rock that don't move or twitch or anything. And then you get the movers and the shakers and, you want to get the belts out and strap them to the table,
Has a first timer never not moved? Like, have they not moved before?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
It's amazing. Some people, how long they can sit on their first tattoo. I mean, I've had a few people, especially military guys, when they get their first tattoo, they get out of basics, they come back for leave, and I want to get a tattoo. And they want a quarter sleeve, and it's like, all right, we're starting 6-7 hours. Your first tattoo.
That's funny.
Yeah.
What is your favorite tattoo that you have personally, and then your favorite one that you've done?
Geez. That I have.
Yep. One that you have personally. Yep.
I think this piece here on my forearm with this kind of Grim Reaper looking thing. I had that really done out in Vegas.
Oh, where at?
Oh, geez. I think it's called Las Vegas Tattoo down on Fremont Street.
Is that one of those famous ones? I forget what that one's called. That's down over in Vegas. They had that show on or whatever.
No, they didn't have a show. They were when I went in there, they were talking about they were going to get a show, but no, they didn't. I went and seen them twice because I had to get this. I have a flag over on my left arm here, and we were getting the second half of that finished. And I decided while I was doing that, I wanted to get this at the same time. So I had two artists working me at the same time. Oh, yeah. And that was 5 hours, I think. And that's pretty intense to have two people work on you at the same time.
Right?
Yeah.
Stay really still then.
Oh, yeah. I sit really good. So
good.
When you're a tattoo artist, you can't be the biggest pussy, jumping around screaming. Ah.
Yeah, you can't make fun of other people.
Absolutely.
Is there such thing as a tattoo artist that doesn't have tattoos?
Not usually. I believe I remember seeing a episode of Ink Master where there was one of the contestants didn't have any tattoos, and
it was a tattoo artist.
Yeah, and they actually threw him off the show because of it.
Really?
Yeah,
doesn't surprise me.
So, but he was really talented. So, and I think he came back a couple of years later, and he did have a lot of tattoos. I think he was finally sleeved. He finally saw the light. It's kind of hard to dish that kind of pain out. It's painful, and not have experienced it yourself.
I don't know if I'd trust a tattoo artist that didn't have tattoos. That didn't have looking
like
you. You know what I mean?
It just comes to mind. Like, is it a such thing? You never know.
That's really interesting. What about one that you've done?
Jeez, I've done so many.
Sorry to rack your brain a little bit.
Yeah, that one's a good one. Yeah, there's a bunch.
Yeah,
I've one of the guys in the shop I've done quite a few tattoos on, a lot of comic book stuff. I'm pretty happy with most of those. My cousin who works there at the shop, Chad Rouse, I did a horror sleeve on him. It's like a 20s era.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Oh, it's super cool. Yeah, it's one of my favorite pieces. It's got the Frankenstein, Bride Frankenstein, Dracula.
That's really cool.
Invisible Man, Phantom of the Opera.
So the Invisible Man, there's just no tattoo there.
Well, he's got the bandages, the bandages with the sunglasses.
Just an open spot on there.
Yeah.
What's that there? Oh, that's the Invisible Man.
Is there, say, like a typical tattoo or a certain one that you don't like doing, or just anything along those lines?
Well, I mean, no, we do everything, but there are some things you see a lot of that you wish people would kind of think through a little better. Yeah. For a while there, tribal was a big thing.
I was just going to say,
and that's kind of gone out the door, but we still see it every once in a while. We'll get some guys that want some big tribal pieces, Polynesian tribal. I'm not Polynesian. I don't really know what it means. I'm sure if you went to Hawaii, someone would beat you up, if you had one done here in Nebraska.
Right.
Infinities. just a lot of that cliche stuff, a lot of Roman numerals and things like that. You know, they run, you know, one year it's one thing, the next year it's another. This last year, it's been these really simple birth flowers. We're seeing a lot of that. You know, someone on Pinterest or something made that famous. And someone
There's birth
sees
flowers now. It's like a birthstone, but it's a flower.
Yeah, every month's got 2 birth flowers.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Have you ever done the ones like inside of the lip?
No, I haven't. I've had a couple of my artists have. I'm just like, yeah, they usually fall out really fast.
Oh, really?
That skin inside your lip, it peels, it comes right off. It's very vascular, so it bleeds a lot. So usually those go away in a short period of time.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, there's areas of the body that just aren't meant to take tattoos. Anywhere you've got like swirls for fingerprints, so the palms of your hands, your feet, those have to be like put in really deep. You got a lot of calluses and stuff in your hands. So it's really got to get in there, because once it peels, that usually, you know, comes right off. There's areas on the sides of the hand that don't hold ink very well. So
I think I would. I could not do the tongue or the cheek or the inside the lip thing.
I doubt that it probably really hurts that much.
I just feel like it
would
would hurt.
Because I feel like I've always, anytime I busted my tooth through my lip once and it didn't really hurt. It was just bleeding profusely.
Yes, right.
But it didn't really hurt. I didn't know it went through.
I bite my cheek or bite my lip, and it really hurts. That's all I know. For a short amount of time, I guess.
Yeah.
That or the eyeballs, the eyelids. Have you done those?
No. We don't do eyeballs.
Or not eyeball, the eyelids. Like the eyelids.
No, I have not personally done an eyelid. Now, my wife used to do cosmetic tattooing, and they do, you know, eyeliner and stuff like that, but they use some special numbing creams for that. They got to sit for a little bit and let it absorb in. And then once they do the tattooing, there's another numbing agent that it's very expensive, but you can put it on an open wound and it instantly numbs.
Oh, really?
So, yeah. But usually that stuff, that doesn't work. Not in the sense of where we're doing big tattoos. If you're doing something that's only going to take, you know, 30 minutes or less, you're probably golden. But I think the longest I've seen somebody personally myself, usually 40, 45 minutes. And that's after, you know, what you usually have to do is put the ointment on and wrap it with plastic so it doesn't evaporate. And you let it sit on there for an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Take it off right before, you know, the tattoos. We'll prep the skin, stick the stencil on, and you start, and usually you've got maybe 40, 45 minutes. So, and most of the tattoos we do go a lot longer than 45 minutes. So what happens is that wears off, and then you've just got all this instant pain that you didn't work into. You know, it's really not as bad as some people put on. I realize some people are more sensitive than others, but you know, if you can build into it, when it first starts out, I don't know if you guys have got tattoos or not, but I would describe it personally myself like I'm being cut with an X-Acto knife.
Really?
Yeah. And you kind of go, well, geez, that wasn't what I was expecting. You know, you see these people sit there. I thought maybe it just felt like a marker, you know, but no, it doesn't. You're being, you know, penetrated with a needle. So, but it becomes irritating, you know, and then after a while, I think sometimes you don't even notice. But it depends on your artist. If you've got an artist that has to take a lot of breaks, you know, a smoker or something like that, and the longer you're away and your adrenaline kind of, you know, eases off, and then they start back up and you're sore.
That's when it starts hurting again.
It really hurts then. So the best thing is to do is get an artist that can at least, you know, go for an hour and a half, 2 hours without having to, you know, take a bunch of breaks.
Right.
And it's usually better for you if you do it that way. The longer you wait, the sore you get. You know, and you, like I said, you get that adrenaline dump, and then you got to build it all back up. And so there comes a time with some people that, you know, their endorphins are just shot, and there's nothing left in the tank. And you can tell because they'll start to like shake and twitch. Yeah. And then that's when we go, okay, I think we're done, because you can't sit anymore, you know.
Right. I've always heard that going on bone, like bonier parts, like the elbow, places like that, hurt a little worse. Is that true? Yeah,
elbows and knuckles, things like that, they do hurt more. Kneecaps, because it's just skin right over the top of the bone. It's kind of a funny sensation. But I wouldn't say it's the worst. It can be if you're really trying to pack real solid color in those areas, like knuckles. Oof,
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure.
I had the elbows done. It wasn't too bad, but yeah, some places on the tops of your knuckles there, it's
pretty bad.
Yeah, it
What
feels
about, like, the
imagine taking your hand on some rough concrete and just rubbing it back and forth. That's what it's kind of like. Yeah.
Do you ever get any sleepers?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've slept through a few myself.
Really?
Get done. Yeah. You
You
really
just find it
tired.
relaxing.
No, usually jet lag. I've got to have a few done when I was over in Germany, and
Oh.
yeah, the time difference, you just kind of fall asleep.
Right.
And some people really have a really soft touch. It usually means they're tattooing a lot longer too. So, I had one done over in Germany. It was 12 hours.
Oof.
And it wasn't too bad. I mean, it was a long time, but I think we only took one break for a lunch. Otherwise we went straight through, but yeah, it can be intense, but this guy had a German machine that was pretty soft, and he was very light, but everybody's different.
Right. Can you walk us through some of the different regulations that you have to follow?
Okay, yeah, let me see where to start. There's literally a book.
I figured.
Yeah, I've got one printed out. You have to have one printed out for the shop. So if a customer wanted to ask to see, all the surfaces need to be cleaned with some kind of a fungicidal, tuberculoidal killing stuff. So we use a product called Maticide, and everything that gets touched by a customer has to get wiped down. So our chairs, any surface that is going to an arm, say like you're going to do an arm that's going to be rested on, it has to have some kind of a barrier between the client and the furniture to prevent, stuff soaking in, so usually we wrap everything with like a plastic wrap. All the things we use when we tattoo are disposable, so we don't have to really autoclave anymore. For that.
Is that a normal thing? Do a lot of places do that where you throw it disposable, or is it?
Yeah, I think the majority of shops it's more expensive, but it's just so much easier than have to, cleaning tubes and tips and then autoclaving them and, the packaging and all the stuff that goes with that. I mean, that's hours every day, doing that stuff. So everything's pretty much disposable now. So, we like to have everything setting out so the customer can actually see us take our needles out of the packages and stuff like that, so they know everything's, kosher. We everything's got to be super sanitary, like I was saying before. Everybody has to wear gloves. Our rooms are cleaned daily, and then we do a really thorough one weekly. All the normal requirements that are required by the city,
Right.
Fire extinguishers, alarms, all that stuff. We actually have, waivers, we're letting them know this is a permanent procedure. They have to answer some questions about their health. In the case that someone, passes out, we have that happen from time to time.
Right.
And, if something happened that they had some kind of a medical emergency, at least the first responders, we could hand them that sheet and go, this is the medication they're taking. This is what they've told us that they may or may not be allergic to, things like that. So, we've never had that happen. And I doubt many shops have ever had that happen, but it's a good preventative thing to have around. So, but it releases us from, responsibility, like we did the tattoo and you change your mind, you didn't like it,
Right.
You can't do anything. Sorry, it's there.
That's one thing you can't really return.
No.
You own that.
Has anybody ever thought that it wasn't a permanent thing? Have you ever had anybody come in and actually think that?
I got a guy that works up the front that he probably deals with that more than I do. By the time they get to me, it's the real deal. But so I'm going to say I haven't, but I may have heard him say something. But usually what it is, it's we get a lot of questions about unrealistic expectations.
Oh,
I had a lady come in one time. She wanted to get are you familiar with Lord of the Rings?
Yep.
And the ring that bind them all, and it's got
Yep.
the runes on the inside of the ring. Yeah, she wanted me to do that on her husband's finger. I said it's not possible. I mean, it's so small,
Right.
and and over half the finger doesn't hold ink anyway.
Right.
So I've had people come in and want like little paragraphs of text, Bible, scripture, or something like that. That's, from my graphic design days, we would talk about point size on fonts, and we're talking like 4-point, 5-point text. The stuff you see on ads that they don't want you to know about, may give you diarrhea, and, a third eye on your forehead type deal. And they actually think you can do that. And I was just, you got to explain to them, no, that's not possible.
It's not a computer program.
Yeah. It's that's not humanly possible. Nobody can do that. I know that there's some people have been delving into like robotic tattooing, and there's just no way you could even do it, that way.
Right. People think you're using a laser and you just...
Oh, it's crazy. They think their body's a sheet of paper, and you get these every once in a while. You get someone come in, they want something covered, and it's not a painting.
Right.
You just can't keep painting over the top of the canvas and getting something else. You see these guys that got 3 or 4 covers already going. It's like at that point you should probably go get some laser and get that
it removed.
Yeah, and then come back in and see us.
Or you see the people that just have like all black because they've covered up so many.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, the blackout tattoos, that's another thing. There's a lot of misinformation out there on the internet. Big surprise, right? You see these videos where these guys get these blackout tattoos, and then they'll tattoo over the top of them in white, or some of them other colors, and you go, oh my God, that looks so good. It really pops. Well, until it heals.
Right.
And, the top layer of your skin comes off, which was where all that ink was to begin with for the most part. And then you got like this ghosted image left behind that just looks horrible, and there's just a lot of stuff like that out there. Some of these micro tattoos that people try to do, they're usually some kind of cool painting or something like that, but they're like the size of a stamp. When those heal and they all peel, all that falls off. There's some of those guys that can probably pull that off, but you lose somewhere around 40 to 50% of the ink through the healing process.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So a lot of times, you'll see something that's, got red in it. Red really drops out quick. And I've seen images where the tattoo looks so real, like glossy lips, or I've seen some horror ones with like vampires and they've got blood, and it looks like if you touched them, your hand would be bloody,
right?
And that's not, they don't stay that way. 3 days later, when the peeling process starts, they lose a whole bunch of that color. It's not as bright and vibrant. Wow. And yeah, there's a lot of, you see a lot of fresh stuff on the internet right after it's done. Very rarely do you see the healed results.
Right.
And they're usually not so spectacular.
So everybody thinks, oh, it's going to look great. And then that's not actually the finished product.
Yeah, usually. There's some people out there that really have good color application, a lot of experience in color that can really get it to stick. But when you're getting into like color realism, yeah, I would stay away from that. That's always going to fall apart eventually because, the sun takes its toll, the healing process takes its toll, and you'd be better off just doing black and gray.
Right.
Yeah, it holds better. And even that stuff will soften over time. We call it silvering. Right. And, it'll lighten and fade back just because that's just the nature of tattoos. You're putting liquid ink in a liquid medium. Yeah. It's not going to stay in the same place its entire life. There's going to be some shifting and moving, and colors are going to change.
So do you have different guns for like shading? Like one would be like 16 needles and one would be like 8.
We have no guns.
Wow.
They're called machines.
Machines.
Yeah. If we went to the airport and said, oh, that's a bag full of my tattoo guns, they'd probably, cuff you and beat you. So they're machines. No, the machines, I use basically one machine, but we do have different needle cartridges for those. And so they go from like 3 needles. And there's different variations of those, needle length and stuff, the way they taper down. So like, a long taper is basically like using a single needle. And they have different diameters on them. So, you could have 3 liners that do 3 different line weights. I want to say, I think the largest needle grouping I do for like lining, I use a round shader. I think that's got 19. I think it's 19 needles in it that makes a nice thick line. So, I've seen some, you can get them with 50.
Really?
I don't know what they're using to use those, a jackhammer or something. Because what people don't realize is, the more needles you have, like I watched a guy was doing a blackout tattoo on a guy's shoulder, and he was using 112 needles.
Jesus.
It's called a mag. It looks like a paintbrush, but I mean, it's about the size of my hand, And what people don't realize is how high you have to set that machine to hit that hard to penetrate the skin, because it's a surface area thing. It's just like the guy that lays on a bed of nails.
They all go in at one time. They don't go like.
No, they're all going in at the same time. So they're all hitting that skin and for the most part bouncing. So on something like that, you see these guys really, digging in. They got to apply a lot of pressure, because otherwise those needles are just bouncing off the skin like a trampoline. So
Sounds painful.
Super painful, super bloody, pretty messy. And then what happens when you do that, when you got a customer that's bleeding a lot, the blood pushes the ink back out.
Yep.
So then you're gonna have to go back in and repack it. It's a lot of artists, they want the money,
right,
but nobody really wants to do blackout.
Right.
It's just boring, mind numbing, painful,
right,
bloody.
It seems like a waste of money, though.
It
too.
does, yeah.
It is. I mean, I've seen some cool applications where they've used geometric shapes and
I've seen
incorporated
that,
black
yeah.
stuff, and some of that looks really cool. But some of it just comes out with, oh, my entire arm's black, or my entire body is now black. Yeah, it's crazy.
Huh. Do most tattoo shops also offer the body piercing? Is that kind of a trend now? Or a
Not
thing?
all, but yeah, back in the day, that's the way it was. If you were going to get a tattoo, you probably go to a tattoo shop to get body piercings, because they do a lot more than, usually your local jewelry store. Usually they do ears and that's it, but
Right.
A lot of these other things have gotten a lot more popular. We don't do anything below the waist. Sometimes, I don't want anybody to take offense, but most people are pretty, dirty. So if you can't take care of your ears, I'm not sure you're going to take care of the things below your belt line. So
Leave that to somebody else.
yeah,
to deal with that.
there's places that do that, and I just, it's just, I'm not worried about a liability type deal, but you're worried about a word of mouth deal,
Right.
because the first thing people do, when they leave the shop, everything is sterile.
Mhm.
You're not getting an infection coming in unless, you had, someone in your entourage come and look at it and sneeze on you,
Right.
But, yeah, everything's very clean, sterile. What you do once you leave the shop, I have no control over.
Right.
So, a lot of times you see these videos on YouTube, some guy's got an infection. Well, that didn't come. I would say that would never come out of my shop.
Right.
But, yeah, what they do once they leave, who knows? And, the last thing you want is like, oh, someone gave me an infection in my private parts.
Right.
And, but everybody knew, you're not a clean person. But, when they throw that out there,
Yeah.
in the internet,
Right.
So we just rather not deal with that.
Do you do a lot of piercings yourself?
I used to do all the piercings, but we got other people at the shop that do that now. I'm just way too busy with tattoos too.
Right.
Now sometimes I'll assist. Sometimes we have children come in that want they want to get their ears pierced, and it takes 2 piercers to do it because it's just faster, so you don't have to deal with
Both.
how the kids get crazy
Or
sometimes.
they get the one in and they don't want it hurt so bad they don't want the other
Yeah,
one.
they don't want the other ones. Yeah, so
So you
why
gotta do
take the
both at once?
chances to do both at once? Yeah. So I keep my license for that.
That's
So just to help out on occasion.
Are most of the piercings that you guys do kind of the run of the mill, ears, lips, tongue then kind of?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. Any of the eyebrow stuff? You do a lot of that too?
Yeah, we do eyebrows as well. I don't know that we see that quite as much as we do the others. The popular ones are, the navel, nipples are a big one with the ladies. Nose, regular, there's like 5 or 6 different piercings that just go into the ear alone. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of that. Sometimes you see, lips. But
There's
yeah.
definitely a lot less eyebrows. That was kind of a fad for a short period of time.
Right.
don't
And
really
you see a
those
lot of
anymore.
guys get those too, but yeah, not so much anymore.
I kind of totally forgot about the nipples. I didn't even think about that.
Oh, that's a huge one.
I
I
figured-
don't know what happened one time, but I remember we offered it, and I don't know if like some star or something, and I swear it was just this onslaught of college age girls coming
Nipple
out.
piercings.
Oh yeah, it's very popular.
Is that usually a thing where they get both, or is it just one?
Usually it's both.
Is it?
On occasion you'll see someone that just wants one,
I always thought that if they got the one, maybe it just hurt that bad. They just didn't want to get the second one. It's usually
That's kind of what I thought too all the time.
Well, I like it when they come in with their friends and the friends go, they overhead. They go, oh, the second one doesn't hurt at all after you had the first one. That's the biggest lie.
Hurts just as bad, doesn't it?
Yeah, worse.
That's funny. You always hear about those, you know, the ones you're talking about below the belt, like the, what is it, the Jacob's Ladder or whatever. Or the, I mean,
Prince
what's the
Albert.
point? Besides
stimulation.
I mean, it's gotta hurt, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, very painful.
Yeah, that would.
Yeah,
I couldn't imagine that.
Yeah, there's a reverse Prince Albert that goes out the other side.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
And that one looks extremely painful.
I used to always say if I ever went to get a Jacob's Ladder or something, it'd be a Jacob step stool. Because I'd only make it through one.
Right. But you know, those people that get those areas tattooed as well. I mean, I know artists that have done them. They're very expensive because there's a handling fee, right?
Yeah,
you know,
right.
if I got to handle your junk, you're going to pay extra.
You're
So
pay for that.
So I have not done one of those yet. I know the procedure to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm not necessarily advertising for any people to come out and run down and get one. But I would. People always ask me, "What's the most painful tattoo?" And I said, probably your,
Yeah,
I would imagine so.
Yeah.
Definitely heard it.
yeah, your junk's probably the most painful. I don't know. I've never had one there, so I wouldn't know.
And isn't there on females? Isn't there kind of a risk for piercings? On the certain areas that could lose feeling.
Yeah. There's a direction that you need to run the jewelry.
Gotcha.
So yeah, you want to run it vertically. You don't want to run it horizontally because then the jewelry lays right on it.
Yep.
And after a while, you can lose sensitivity.
That's what I thought. I'd heard that it was kind of a few horror stories of that kind of happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't blame you for not wanting to do those. What? I guess you don't do too many. What has it been your favorite piercing you've done?
Oh, easily the nose.
The nose?
Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Yeah, they're fast.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, once you've got the location where they want it to be, we usually go, you do the prep and the cleaning and stuff, and then you go, okay, I'm going to put a mark on here that shows you where typically these goes, but it's up to you. You in your own mind, you envision how you want to see this on yourself.
Yeah.
And so we have them look in the mirror and then we're like, yeah, that's right. Or, can we move it a little forward or back or whatever? And then zook, and in the jewelry goes and you're done.
Nose bleed quite a bit too, don't they? Or no?
No, not usually. I mean, everything we do is gauge on gauge, which means the size of the needle is the size of the jewelry.
Oh, okay.
So it fits tight.
Okay.
Now you'll get some artists that they don't like to tattoo that way because it makes it a little more difficult. What they like to do is because they can't chase the jewelry through with the needle. So what they'll do is they'll get a big half size bigger needle so that the jewelry post fits inside the needle itself.
Oh.
Yeah. So then they just have to push it all the way through and they don't have to chase it because it's got the hole, it's in the hole. Whereas when it's gauge on gauge, it's like sticking two pencils end to end and shoving it through an opening. So there's a little bit more, finesse that has to go with that.
Right.
But when you do that, then there is no bleeding.
Oh, that's good.
Now I will say one time I pierced this girl's nose. Now this was her fourth time, I believe, having the same area pierced.
Oh.
And pierced her. And I think I put the jewelry in, turned around to drop my needle in the sharps container. And I turned back around and I seen blood spray over her nose 3 times. Squirt, squirt, squirt. And I almost like, oh my God. And then it stopped. But I must have pierced right onto a little, vein or artery or something right there. But as her heart was beating, it was squirt, squirt, squirt. It was just a little bit, but it was enough to freak me out. Yeah.
I couldn't imagine ever seeing that one. Yeah. Nah.
Yeah, only one time. I've only seen it once, but
That's good. Have you had any strange requests for tattoos or piercings? Anything that you...
Well, the piercings every once in a while. I get one time. My wife took a call. A guy wanted to know if we pierce buttholes. No, we don't. And what they were talking about was the tissue.
Yeah.
The taint or whatever. Yeah, that there.
That's funny.
Why you would have something like that done is beyond me. But there's all sorts of weird stuff that can be done down there. Tattoo wise, well, I do have a funny one, but this guy's a funny guy. He gets some really funny tattoos. he wanted a tattoo. It was a kind of a cartoon tattoo of a Grim Reaper, and his little bony hands are spreading some butt cheeks apart, and his tongue's flapping with spit on it.
That's great.
And then above it said Rim Reaper.
That's a good one.
Yeah, it was a good one.
He came up with that?
Yeah.
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, I said that's a, human resources nightmare right there.
Right.
I said you better always keep that covered.
Right? Yeah, don't worry. We're not a PG podcast, so you can say whatever you want.
Okay.
Is there any, I guess you kind of said this already, is there any other types of piercings or tattoos you completely stay away from that you just won't do?
Piercings, just the below the waist stuff. The tattoos, we don't do any gang stuff. I refuse. I don't want that reputation. I don't need that kind of clientele in there. So, yeah, we probably do just about anything realistically, but that's the one thing we really stay away from is gang related stuff. So,
have you ever had anybody come and want some Chinese symbols and you put something weird that you knew what it said that they didn't know what it said?
No, they usually bring us the symbols, and I've said, "Are you sure this is what this is?" So yeah, it's always risky when you're using symbols or a language you don't speak, because people just go use Google.
I know.
Translate, and that ain't right all the time.
No,
right?
it's not.
I actually had a gentleman actually was on the Norfolk PD, and he had something in Hebrew written, and he actually went to someone in Omaha and that spoke Hebrew and had translated it for him, because Google Translate actually flipped it backwards.
See, that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. So yeah, people that do that, that's at their own risk. I only speak English. So.
I don't know what it says. I just think it'd be funny if you knew like some symbol and you had it like in your wall and somebody's like, "Oh, that looks cool. I want that."
Yeah,
this just says something really stupid.
Yeah.
I used to remember the one for beautiful, but I forget what it is. I believe my daughter's got that one somewhere. But I saw a show one time. I can't remember what it was. It was this guy that did cover-ups down in Vegas, and there was a lady that had, call it kanji, on her neck, and every time she go into like an Asian restaurant, these people like really look at her weird. They were like, "What kind of woman is this?" And so they actually went in and had it translated, and it basically said she was a whore.
Throat goat,
the horror mark,
throat goat across the neck.
So the guy did a cover on it, so she no longer had to have that embarrassing encounter every time she went to an Asian restaurant. So.
That's funny. So with waivers and stuff and maybe permission slips, what's the youngest you'll do a tattoo?
The youngest 16.
16.
And that's got to be something like either medical, like type 1 diabetes, something like that. Some kind of identifying thing for if something happens to them in an accident or something. And sometimes, and it really depends on what it is, a memorial thing. A brother, father, mother, something like that. That's really important to the family. But usually, yeah, that's it. 17, it's usually the norm. And of course, parents have to be there throughout the whole procedure and sign for it. We have to have documentation that they're actually the parents, because we've had people that aren't.
Bring somebody in.
Yeah. So, if the names don't match and the addresses don't match, then we need birth certificates. We need, documentation from the court that says you are the legal guardian of this person, because, it's so common today with the divorce rate so high that, mom or dad may have married 3 times, before these guys get this tattoo, and they live at different addresses and whatnot.
Right.
So yeah, it's really a headache.
So do they have to be 19 or 18 to do it on their
18.
own? 18. I didn't know if the 19 isn't Nebraska 19 contractual
for the age of consent. It's 19. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you go to the hospital, you got to be 19. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
But to get a tattoo, you got to be 18.
Right.
Smoke a cigarette, you got to be 21, and a drink of beer, you got to be 21. So it's just
you can't even rent a car until you're 25.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Something like that. Yeah.
It's 25. It's crazy.
Can we just come up with one number and start it over with?
Exactly.
But I've had people
until you're 25 though too.
Yeah.
I'm down with that.
we had people call in wanting to know if, their 12-year-old could get a tattoo. And I'm just like, what?
They got a lot of growing left.
Oh,
wouldn't it like stretch?
Yeah, there's all sorts of things. I mean, they're not mentally prepared to have something like that done. And physically, yeah, there's still a lot of growth. And, like I said before, ink doesn't stay in the same place.
Yeah.
Especially, girls like to get a lot of words, to empower them or whatever. And and what they don't realize is that, yeah, you're 18-year-old and you get,
you're fit at 18. I was in decent shape at 18. I'm A shape now.
Right.
That's funny.
But 10 years later, it's not gonna look the same.
Yeah.
And maybe it doesn't even mean the same thing to you anymore.
Right.
So
that's the other thing too. People might get something in a quick thing and it doesn't mean nothing to them in 5 years.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And my wife's got one on her foot, bottom of her foot, or like the side of her foot that's really fading a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a high wear area.
Yeah.
So they tend to fade a lot. Yeah, you exfoliate a lot of skin on your hands and your feet.
Yep.
So it's just, yeah.
It's just crazy how, and it's probably only, well, I guess we're old now, huh? That probably would have been when she was like 20.
That's almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's closer to 20 than 10.
Whoops. What are some misconceptions about tattoos and piercings that people may have?
They're only for bikers and, bad people. I would say, I think we did some numbers on this one time. Yeah, it runs around 80-85% of our clientele are women.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
We get way more women than we do men.
Is that a lot of smaller tattoos then? Or is there a lot of larger tattoos on women?
A lot of them, they're into the big, floral, sleeves, things like that. We do a lot of flowers. Yeah, it's not a guy thing anymore. Lots of professionals. That's another thing, they just think that, someone's unemployable, but, we do, law enforcement, doctors, nurses, lots of people out there.
I think nowadays, as long as it's not on the face,
yeah,
I think you can really get by with just about anything.
Right.
Not
and
on
even
the face
then,
and not offensive, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, not offensive. Right.
On the face is still pretty unemployable in a lot
to an extent.
A lot of
depending on
places.
if you want to do office type work where you're dealing with the public, but mechanics, people at work,
that doesn't matter.
Yeah, in the trades doesn't matter.
Right.
So it all depends on what you want to do. And like I've seen people that they'll they have a bunch of piercings and face tattoos, and they'll go on TikTok or whatever and complain about not getting a job as a whatever they want to be, a receptionist or something like that. Like,
yeah,
I wouldn't hire you as my receptionist. I don't want you to be the face of my company.
Right.
Like that's not the image I'm putting out there right now.
Right.
It's sort of one of those things. So there's jobs for you. Just go find the job you want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And when we have people approach us about getting face tattoos, we usually have some pretty in-depth conversations.
Like, do you know what you're doing right now?
Yeah. This is going to limit you on what you're going to be able to do in the future,
Yeah.
Do you do any questions that would maybe involve trying to figure out if they're, all there? Like as far as like, are they not drunk? They're not high when they're making this decision? Or can you kind of tell? Or do you try to...
You can usually tell pretty easily when someone's under the influence or something. Usually when they come in to make the appointment, they're not. But, and we have absolutely 100% the right to, refuse services and keep their deposit, Right. So come back when you're sober.
Right.
And there's another one that's a big one this time of the year and people don't think about it is, the sun.
Oh, right.
Come in sunburned or your skin's peeling off. Because of a sunburn, we can't tattoo you because
it's going to peel off right away.
Well, that's part of it. It's not going to stay, but also that peeling skin. When the needles are penetrating, they're pulling that dead skin off you. So our needles are just constantly clogged with skin. So what happens is there's a fine layer of skin at the tip of your needle, so all the ink just spills out onto your skin. And so it's impossible. So we have that happen occasionally, and now is that time of the year when everybody wants to be outside.
Wintertime's the good time to get tattooed.
There are a lot of big shops that won't tattoo anybody in certain areas, forearms and things like that because of sun exposure.
I'm getting a little burnt. I mean, it's this time of year, right? The first few times out in the sun.
Yep.
But we do case by case. We usually try to find out you can do anything, or you going on a trip. Someone mentions, I've had it happen before where someone's saying, "Oh, well, we're going to Hawaii in 3 days." Oh, well, I hope you don't want to get in the water or the pool, because that's a great way to get an infection.
Right. That's crazy.
And some of those can be deadly. There was a guy, I want to say it was 6, 7 years ago down in one of the Gulf states. It wasn't Texas. I want to say it was like Louisiana or something. Got a calf tattoo, a really nice piece. And, he was told, do not, whatever you do, especially don't wade in the Gulf of Mexico. And this guy 3 days later was out wading around and he got a flesh-eating bacteria in his leg.
Oh, no.
And it, you could see right wherever it tattooed him, it ate all the flesh off him.
Oh.
Well, they ended up, it kept getting worse. They ended up having to amputate his leg at the knee, and they thought they'd stopped the spread of it, but they hadn't gone to his liver, and it killed him.
Oh my gosh.
So it's no joke. You definitely shouldn't be swimming around in dirty water.
Yeah.
So we don't
like
want,
when
we
you get
don't
a
want,
tattoo, you don't take shower. You can't shower.
you can shower. Running water is good. Running water from a tap or a shower is fine. But anywhere you got standing water, you rest bacteria that's floating in there.
Gotcha.
That can get in there a lot more easily. So, we don't like people to get into. A lot of these things are heavily chlorinated, and chlorine will suck the ink right out of your tattoo. You go somewhere and get a bad tattoo, or you have your buddy give you a kitchen tattoo. Go to the nearest hot tub and grab a 12 and just hammer beers. So your blood's nice and thin and it's bleeding through those holes, and just sit that tattoo underneath hot chlorinated water and it'll suck the ink right out of you.
Really?
Jeez.
And if that doesn't work, duct tape. You put that on, apply it really good. Some of that good duct tape that's really hard. Yeah, it'll rip.
Gorilla tape?
Yeah. I actually had a lady one time, we were doing a cover on her chest, and later she was a younger lady too. This was really crazy. When I heard this, she ended up having a heart attack. And when they took her to the emergency room, they put all those patches on her. And when they pulled them off, they pulled the ink right out. Right, exactly. It was a perfect, square with the rounded corners.
Wow.
Pulled it right off. It was so sticky.
Huh, that's crazy.
Yeah. So they're those first few days, it takes about 10 to 14 days for the skin to heal up enough that it won't allow microscopic bacteria to get into the skin. So those 10 to 14 days are pretty critical. You're pushing, plasma, the entire time, especially that first 2 or 3 days. You'll really notice it'll look like sweat on your tattoo, but it's actually beads of plasma. And, so that means the skin's open. So, it's easy for things to get in there and come out and whatnot. So
that's one of my biggest fears is flesh-eating bacteria, actually.
Yeah, I hate dirty water.
It's never been a fear of mine until now.
It has been.
I'm more about the movie on Rundown with the Rock is the penis eating minnows.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Peeing in the water. Yeah.
Right. So I see when people get fresh tattoos, they have the plastic wrap, like say around your forearm or something. How long does that stay on? Because in my mind, wouldn't you want it open so the skin can start healing?
Well, there's some new products out there that actually you can put on. Well, the thing is that in the industry, some of this stuff changes so fast all the time. So typically we'll either use a soaker pad if you're bleeding heavily, or I'll just wrap you with saran till you get home, so we can keep any kind of bacteria off, kind of keep any kind of plasma or blood issues localized, because as that's pushing out of your skin, it's pushing ink in front of it. So a lot of times I'll tell people, when you go to bed at night, especially if we've had a long session and it's something that's really packed heavy with color or black, you probably want to wear something over that, some saran or something like that, because you'll wake up in the morning with that all over your bed. Oh, yeah, everywhere. It's a mess. But I've seen some products. They're called dermal shields, and it's like a secondary skin. I think they were originally used for like burn victims and stuff. And the genius of it is it sticks to dry skin and it doesn't stick to where it's wet. So what happens is, it used to be they'd want you to put it on right away at the shop, and then you'd have them come back the next day and change it out. And that's just a huge pain. So a lot of places are saying, you can buy this yourself and apply it yourself. It's kind of difficult to get on, and you got to put it on sometimes in layers to get around bendy areas. Anywhere that it bends, you've got a tendency to want to get an air pocket in it, and then all that stuff will run out. So anyway, so what have been doing, the latest I've seen is they'll wrap with a plastic wrap, and they want you to leave it on for like 8 hours, and this thing just fills up with plasma, blood, ink. It's just a disgusting black mess, right? So you want to be somewhere safe when you take it off, so you don't have this all, because this is
going everywhere.
It's going everywhere. And you'll clean it up, wash it with an antibacterial soap if you can, and then apply this DermaShield on there. And it's a really thin. It's almost like a second skin, and it looks really cool. And it generally works really well, especially if you got a flat area. But some people are very allergic to the adhesive that it uses, and you can break out. So, and what they say then is you leave it on somewhere between 4 to 7 days. Sometimes, it just starts to come off, so you just take it off. But once you peel it off, you've basically healed in your own juice. And so a healing time is typically 6 to 8 weeks if you're air drying something and there's a lot of peeling that goes with that. And, you need to use ointments and lotions. And, but whereas these DermaShields, they can actually heal you pretty quick.
That's pretty neat.
It is neat, but it's not for everyone, and it's not for every application, and people don't understand that. And it's expensive, a lot more. It's just like the numbing agents, everybody would like to have a tattoo that doesn't hurt, but unfortunately that's not the case. And not every tattoo can be healed using a DermaShield. I know they'll try to tell you it is, but I know for a fact it doesn't work in all areas. So there's nothing like that contractor I was telling you about that did the 14 hours or whatever it was on him. We tried many of those on his back. He was a shorter, wider, a little heavier, had some love handles on him. And, between the love handle area, his lats, and the curvature of the musculature around his spine, him bending and moving and doing stuff in his job, those things would break. And I think he came into me 3 separate times where, one, I know he said he was in a meeting, he was talking, he felt it just break and all the fluid ran down. So, his shirt's black and his pants and his underwear and stuff. So yeah, it's, they're kind of messy.
That's funny. Any other misconceptions or anything about tattoos or piercings?
Oh, I think the biggest misconception, we kind of touched on it before, was the size of tattoos. And bigger is always better. You can get a lot of detail on something that's bigger. That doesn't have to be like little nitpicky stuff, because the more stuff you try to stick into a tattoo, the more that you're probably going to get blowouts, ink spreads, and it's just not doable. You really listen to your artist, because they will tell you exactly what it is that you can and can't do with something. That's one of our biggest things I think we fight with is the size of tattoos with customers. Well, I just want a little tiny one. And it's like, well, you're not going to get any of this detail. It's not going to look like this image that you're sending me. We're going to have to simplify it a great deal.
Right.
And so, and thinking that, the skin is a piece of paper or a canvas, it just doesn't work that way.
Right.
And so, we have a lot of issues with, I wouldn't say they're issues, but there's a lot of educating that has to go in with that. We get misconceptions that, someone wants a tattoo. Oh, I want to get a small tattoo. Well, what's small to you? A quarter sleeve, it's like 7 hours of work.
It's a small tattoo.
We're not just going to walk in the door and slap that out in 10 minutes, So, pricing structure, every shop charges something differently. I saw a guy on Facebook that had a tattoo done $2,400, something I could have did for $900. And, you'll get people that come in and say, oh, this should only cost $200. Oh, really? Are you a tattoo artist?
Right.
And, I guess if you can do it for that, do it,
Right.
So, yeah, I think that's, those are some of the ones that come to the top of my mind. But, unrealistic expectations on some things, that.
Yeah.
The craziest thing is not listening to your tattoo artist. Just coming off the street. It's like,
it happens.
They've been
all the
doing
time.
it for how long? I've done thousands of these and they won't listen to what you're saying.
Right.
That's crazy.
Do you get it? Do you get that more? Do you get that more from the people that have never had them, or do you still get that with the people that have a bunch? Like somebody that's got a bunch of tattoos comes and haggles about that type of stuff too.
Well, just because they've got a lot of tattoos doesn't mean they were professionally done. So, I've seen people that come in that just covered in, kitchen tattoos are just, why would you let somebody do that to you?
Yeah.
Oh, he was my boyfriend, or I don't care, I've actually had a guy come in one time that he was like, he ordered a tattoo machine set up from Amazon because it was so much cheaper, than going to get a tattoo. And then he started tattooing himself and realized that he wasn't a very good tattoo artist. So we had to do all these covers on him, and his ex-wife, I had to do some covers on her too. I felt really bad,
sure.
But live and learn, right?
Right. Do you have a couple of stories that you could tell us from the job, whether they're funny or bad experience, or like even a lighthearted one? Just a couple. We can kind of.
Oh, geez. Here's one where I learned a big lesson on assuming things. I had a girl come in that she was a cutter, right? And she wanted this bouquet of roses to cover all these cuts that she had on her thigh. And I thought, oh man, this is going to be cake. She'll be able to sit there. This is no problem. She's got 1,000 cuts on her, She's no stranger to pain.
Right.
Oh my God. It was like tattooing on a fucking rowboat in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, She was just writhing. And, she had a guy with her. I assume it was her boyfriend. He actually had to lay across her to hold her down on the table. I was just like, oh my God.
Wow.
But thank God it was, an organic tattoo, and it wasn't something that was geometrical where I had to have like super straight lines.
Right,
so, if she was moving around, I could just like, oh, well, the vine just went that way, or the petal of the leaf just took an unexpected turn, but we got through it, but it was horrible. So yeah, the people that do that do not do it because they enjoy the pain.
Right. Yeah.
So that was my big lesson right there. So
that's crazy.
We actually had that conversation about that. Was that you and I talking about that they don't do it for anything other than they kind of do it as attention seeking.
Yeah, an attention seeking thing. Yeah,
some of them, not all.
Some
of them,
right?
But especially on the thigh, generally that's an attention thing.
Yeah, we see a lot. Arms in a lot of these people. Once they grow through that and they realize they don't want that stigma anymore.
Yeah.
They come in and
they cover
covers.
That up.
Yeah.
Have you done any? This is a question I thought of. Have you done anything for like any kind of birth defects or like any kind of like burn victim type stuff? I'm trying to think of things like a bad scar.
I've done. Yeah, I had a gentleman that had some extensive scarring and surgical issues. He had put his arm through a plate glass window, and he's very sensitive. Scars run the gamut. They can either not hurt. They can be extremely painful, even if they're, years and years and years old. Some holding, some don't, So yeah, I've been through that. I've tattooed over mastectomy scars, where they haven't had reconstruction done. And we'll actually do some kind of an image over, that area. The worst areas I think to work on are ladies that want to hide like stretch marks on their stomach after having kids. The first thing I say is you can't have any more because, I can only do this once. And if you go and have another kid and, they get stretched out again, you usually can't fix that line work. Cause some of that stuff will just, you'll see someone that's got a lower abdomen tattoo. I remember this one girl had a nautical star, one on each side of her hips, on the front, on her abdomen. And I said, she asked me if I could fix this. And I was like, oh my God, no. Mm-hmm. Because they were like stair step. They were so stretched and nothing would line up. I said, I can't fix that. And she started crying. I felt really bad, but it was like, I go, why would you get a tattoo there?
Because she was young and didn't think about it.
Yeah. You got 4 kids. She goes, well, the doctor told me I could never have kids. Well, I guess he was wrong.
Right.
You got 4 right here with you, it's like, so, like something lighthearted. I get people that come in all the time and they'll say, we want you to do something original. And I'm like, yeah, I've heard that before. You can do whatever you want. I just want a piece of art from you. I said, okay, how about a bouquet of dicks? I haven't done one. I want to do one, Oh no, not that. And I said, well, there we go. I can't do anything I want to do. So,
right on your forehead.
Yeah. Right.
Do you do stuff like, do you come up with designs if people give you an idea?
Oh yeah.
Or everybody's got to come bring an idea or bring a design to you?
No, I've had several people that go, well, what are you interested in? You know, some people want to do like the story of their life. I had a gentleman in that a lot of his family members, had military service and were in various, global conflicts. And so we designed an entire tattoo based on, his, grandfather in World War II. He had some uncles in Vietnam. Him and his brothers had been over to Iraq and Afghanistan, and designed this really cool piece that had like images from those, like Battle of the Bulge and Out in the Jungle and stuff like that. And I had a gentleman recently wanting to do things for his things that interested him as a young child. So we had Star Wars characters and Wolverine and just all this stuff, and just, created this whole sleeve. My son, he was in the military. He wanted to do some stuff for that. So, I created some pieces that were based off of his company, his unit names, like one was Apache. So, we did like a skeletal Indian head dress. So it's got a skeleton screaming, and then on part of the headdress, it had his unit number on there. He had another one that was called Pale Horse, and he was a Cav Scout. So, we did the cavalryman doing a cavalry charge. He was a skeleton on an undead horse. So part of the horse's flesh was away and you could see the bones underneath and stuff. So, and then we did like shell casings, 5.56 shell casings falling through all the space in his arm with, smoke coming out of them. So that was all the filler.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
really cool,
turned out really cool. So yeah, if someone can bring in some good ideas, we can use it. But what I need to know is what you're into. You just can't. I've had people come and say, I want you to do something really creepy. Okay. I can do creepy. That's my thing.
Creepy.
Black and gray horror is my thing, baby. Yeah, bring it on. I'll do black and gray horror all day long. And you design up this piece and you go, they're all these gonna love this. And then they come in and they go, yeah, I was thinking more of a Grim Reaper. Totally what it is. Why didn't you just say it to begin with? I did a Grim Reaper, So
you should have had me waste all this time.
Oh, it just pisses me off. Yeah. I mean, the hours that you put into doing these drawings and stuff, and then they come in and go, no, that's not really what I wanted. I wanted this other thing. So
when you, I guess I'm thinking of how you transfer it to the arm. Do you have an idea? So like you say, you're doing a sleeve and you do those things with all the designs. Do you kind of have an outline what an arm is that you start drawing on? Yeah.
And depending on the person, you can take paper and like wrap the arm, and then you cut it in a certain way, and then it folds out kind of like a cone.
Yeah.
Because your arm's conical, it's not perfectly cylindrical. And then we do, sometimes you have to adjust, you're pretty close, but there's always, little
bit off.
Add in. And a lot of times people come in, they just, they want to piece together a sleeve, it's like, I got some ideas, I want to do a quarter here and a quarter there. And then you got to come up with something to, that kind of connects them all together. And so if we have the time and they know what they want ahead of time, you can kind of prep and prepare for that. And sometimes it might look a little funny until the whole piece is done, because you'll have pieces that are cut out where another piece is going to go into. So yeah, we're pretty flexible.
That's really cool. Is there anything else involving the tattoos or piercings that you want to kind of talk about? I kind of went through my questions for that piece of it. Obviously I don't have any tattoos, so I didn't know a whole lot about it. I was, but you talked about it very well. So, anything else that you wanted to kind of dive into at all?
Well, I think, when it comes to the tattooing part and a person wanting to get a tattoo, obviously there are those people that are just like, spontaneous. They don't care. They're just whatever, walk in, pick something off the wall, some flash or whatever. And we're happy to do that. And there's some people that give it a lot more thought, something that means something to them. And that's cool too. I was going to say that we really have no preference. We want to do whatever you want to do, but we want to do it so something that you're going to like. There's a lot of different styles of tattoos. So someone might say, I want to get a heart. Okay, do you want just an outline of a heart? Do you want an anatomical heart? Do you want an old school heart? You want new school? There's there's a whole bunch of genres of tattooing out there, you know, photorealism, you know, color realism, you know, just all this whole gamut. And people go, I don't know. I just want a heart, you know? So, you know, you really got to pick the brain on that. And then you show them, you know, well, okay, so this simple heart's going to be, you know, relatively easy. It's not going to cost you a whole lot. Anatomical, realistic heart, it's probably going to cost you a lot more money.
Right.
So, you know, it's a good idea for, you know, it's so easy nowadays, just, you know, to do a search, heart tattoos, or, you know,
right.
Whatever, dream catcher tattoo, whatever it may be, you know, and there's just a plethora of information out there for a person to go through and pick out, well, this is kind of the style I was thinking of. And you go that way. I mean, there's a lot of shops that specialize. We're a street shop. We're more like the Ink Master type deal, where you got to be a jack of all trades. And on Ink Masters, you got to be a master of all, but that's not really true. You know, I do just about everything, not necessarily a master of all, but I think I pull it off most of the times. You know, people keep coming back for it. So, but, you know, there's a lot of these guys, you go to these conventions, you know, they only do old school American traditional. That's it. You know, their whole portfolio is nothing but that, you know, and you see a lot of that at these shops, and it's kind of like, geez, really?
Right.
You know, you go down to Omaha or something, it's like 4,000, you know, traditional artists. That's all you do. So, you know, that there needs to be some thought that goes into that. And then you need to talk to the artist and figure out, you know, do they feel comfortable doing this type of work?
Mm-hmm.
No, I do some portrait work. Everybody else in the shop does not. So
like you take like you draw somebody's picture.
Yeah. So
Does
you
it
do
turn out all right?
Yeah.
I'm just curious how to tattoo like a picture.
Yeah. You know what you need is, and a lot of people don't understand this, is you need a high quality picture. You know what I'm saying? A professional picture. You know, I got one that's coming up I'm not worried I'm going to be able to pull it off, but the guy took a picture of his dad off somebody else's phone, and you can see the reflection of the windows on it. So it was like, click, click, you know, it's like,
yeah,
you didn't have the original, you know, you couldn't get that person to send you the photos.
Right. Text you have two phones, text it.
Oh my gosh. I had a guy come in one time. He wanted lips on his neck, and I was like, okay, we do those.
Like the not old big deal. Kenyon Martin had those.
Yeah. And so, he comes in, and I had these lips. He goes, oh no, I want my daughter's lips.
Oh,
well, you didn't specify. Do you have a picture of your daughter's lips? So he sends me two pictures, because I said the first one wasn't good. He sent me one that was just as bad. And I don't know if this guy had a protection order or something, but I swear they're from across the street. Right. And you know, her lips on her mouth is like this big, but somehow I got to make them life size, you know? So it was, you know, those are the curves, you know, learning curves, you know, the pains of having to fight with somebody who's like, well, this is the only picture of this person I had, you know, it's something I snapped at a party on my phone. It's like, well, it's not going to be better than that, you know, garbage in, garbage out.
Right.
You know, so, you know, the best is, you know, someone that's had a picture done at a, you know, photo studio, especially if you get him in black and white are the best. That's the dream there, but usually that's really rare. So,
do you recommend people come in with a budget? Is that something you recommend? And then they kind of talk with the artist, and
well, that can help determine on what style they want, you know. But if they're pretty definite that they want to do something, you know, we'll let them know what it is, and then, you know, sometimes they're like, well, maybe I don't need it that big, and going smaller doesn't necessarily mean it makes it easier.
Right.
A lot of times making it smaller makes it harder.
Right.
You know.
Do you do a lot of stage stuff? Like do it in stages, or do you not do that very often? Like if somebody's on a budget and they have to like, well, I could do X amount now.
Yeah. We work with people like that all the time. And then again, you know, it's like, well, okay, well, so we can do this little piece of whatever your grand idea is. And then we can just, you know, build off it. If it's flowers and stuff like that, that's super easy, you know, but, yeah, we can make just about anything work as far as that goes. So budget concerns I don't think they've been a real issue with the business, you know? So, people realize, you know, if they want good work, they're going to pay, you know, good money,
right?
But we're not outrageous by any stretch of the imagination. So we're probably actually one of the cheaper ones in town.
Right. And you are you're already a disposable money business that you are anyway. So
Right.
like you got to know if you can afford to get a tattoo or you can't afford to get a tattoo. It's not something you need to have. So
yeah, and you would be surprised. I actually heard an artist talking the other day on a little podcast thing where he was saying he had someone come in and they did a huge bunch of line work, just all the exterior parts of that this tattoo was going to be. He didn't do any of the shading or color packing. And this person was like, well, I'll get back with you the next week. I get paid. And he's like, no, that's not the way this works. Money is due when services are rendered,
Right.
And so
after it was already done for that part of it, he hadn't paid for that part of it yet.
Right. Probably paid his deposit, but wasn't going to pay the rest of it. Here's an IOU, right?
Yeah.
And then I think it was a girl that had this done, and then the boyfriend's like, "What are you going to do?" Oh, well, I can have you charged with theft of services, dumbass. I've got your address and your phone number and your driver's license.
Right.
It won't be too
cops
hard
will meet you at your house.
Yeah, right. So
you're free to leave. The cops will be at your house too. So
yeah. It's crazy, but we've never had that happen.
Yeah.
Everybody are aware that, we tell them what our guesstimate is, and usually we're pretty right on the money. Every once in a while you have someone, maybe they couldn't sit or they're not taking ink. You will run into people occasionally that bleed profusely for no reason. They're not on any kind of medication. It's just the way they are, I guess. And at that point, it's like, I can't, you're probably going to need a second or a third session because we can't get color packed in because you're bleeding so heavily. It's pushing everything out, So, we try to work out things with these folks. It's never been an issue. So most people know, we tell them, you're going to have to bring this much cash with you. And so.
Do you have to stay up on new techniques quite frequently? Is that something you got to do? I didn't even think about that before, but
the techniques are all pretty much, written in stone. Mm-hmm. There's always new ways. I mean, I remember being at a conference one time when this guy was talking about, he was doing, I think, a portrait of Jimi Hendrix on somebody. And he was trying to get that kinky hair in an easier way. So he had taken a couple of the needles on his needle set and bent them out so that when he'd make a swirl, it'd make different jaggedy lines.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy because,
kind of ruined that.
Needle sets are pretty they would have gone in the garbage anyway, but they slide in and out of a sleeve so that they stay uniform.
Right.
So he must have had to run his needles out really far and then bend them and then, so it was kind of crazy, but got the desired effect. One of the things he told us, and that is the person you're working on doesn't know what you're doing. So do whatever you want to do, experiment, get crazy with it. As long as the finished product is what they want.
They're not going to know until it's over.
Right. Yeah, right.
Then they're going to look at like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
So, yeah, but what we usually keep an eye out for is new technology.
Yeah.
When I started out, I was using, coil machines and wires, and now everybody's wireless, and it's so much nicer. And everything had to be autoclaved. Yes,
wireless or heavier? Because
they're all, mine are a lot lighter than the coil machines I were using because they were a steel body, with big magnets on them to drive. And these machines now they're all mostly rotary. I use a strange one out of a product out of Sweden, and it actually uses a combination of rotary and magnetics. Usually a rotary is attached to a point and it loops so the needle, like a reciprocating saw.
Yeah.
But this one actually uses a magnetic force to drive the needle. And actually their original needles they have a magnet in the bottom. But the problem is I don't feel they hit hard enough. So we use a standard needle. There's a way to switch it around in the machine. But technology like that is really helpful. There was some printer stuff using stencils. We tried that. I didn't really care for the way it worked. So we used a traditional thermofax machine to create our stencils with. But, that's usually the stuff I'm trying to keep an eye on is things like that. The dermal shield stuff, is some stuff that's new, new products. Ink lines and stuff. I'm pretty set on what I use and the needles that we use because we know how they react and they work. But the always trying to learn new stuff for healing process, better things, better ways to get things healed and stuff.
Right.
And like I said, that keeps changing every year. It's a little different formula, the way they're doing things. So, we kind of pay close attention to that.
Do you keep an up to date on like what the fads are, or do you just find that out as people are coming in?
Oh yeah, you find out right away. Yeah.
I just didn't know if you were like, oh, this is going to start hitting us pretty soon.
Yeah. When you get 4 or 5 people a day coming in wanting the same basic tattoo, it's like, oh, here's a new fad.
That's funny.
But it's really funny. You can go and see go out there on the internet and you'll just search what people talk about. What are the 10 tattoos you never want to see again? Timepieces, compasses, lions, hourglasses. There's a lot of themes that run through a lot of things. You see a lot of shit. I don't give a shit. Tattoo anything, but
right.
Whatever.
Right.
That doesn't make it. You want a timepiece and and a lion. Hey, I'm more than happy to give you a
timepiece, meaning like a watch.
Yeah,
like that's a common thing.
Oh yeah.
I guess I didn't know that. I haven't really noticed that.
A limited amount of time, in life. Use your time wisely. The sands of time are running out.
Isn't there a lot of theme stuff too? Wasn't like Alice in Wonderland a big trend for a while?
Yeah, I've done speaking of one of the tattoos I'm really proud of, I did this really huge full sleeve Alice in Wonderland full color piece. Turned out really nice. Lady moved back home to New York, so we're gonna do some cool stuff on her other arm. But yeah, that one's really proud of.
Nightmare Before Christmas, probably a big one too.
That was when I first got into the business. You'd see a lot of that. Sometimes you do a little bit. So
just trying to think of the ones that I've seen a lot, like many different
Marvels.
People have
Marvel Avengers stuff.
I figured that was a big one.
Yeah, I did a big, leg piece, hip to ankle. Turned out really nice.
What has it been lately? I think I know who that is.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you say?
It is pretty cool. I've seen it.
No, thanks.
What has it been lately?
What been lately?
The fad.
Those flowers, the birth flowers, the real simplistic birth flowers. That's been really huge.
I think I know that one too. The one you were just talking about. I'm pretty sure I know the person too.
Yeah, you do.
Okay. That's what I thought. It's really cool.
Thanks.
Other than that, anything else you want to talk about on the tattoos and Voodoo itself? Where are you located?
1302 Riverside Boulevard, right there in the corner of Benjamin and Riverside. You can't miss it.
Did the construction hurt you at all?
No.
Good.
Yeah, it was annoying, people driving through the parking lot like a bat out of hell. I remember one time being outside screaming at some people. I mean, you come around that corner right there with that.
Blind.
Oh yeah. And then people are hitting at 35, 40 miles an hour, just flying around that corner, we started for a while there backing in so we could see if people were flying around the corner. And, we had some officers over there. One of them, someone I had tattooed. He came up and talked to me one morning. I said, I was laughing. I said, you give that guy a ticket? Cause he was. Just a warning. And I said, are you crazy? This is your opportunity to fund that new police station. Andy. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. There was a week or two where they were handing out lots of warnings, but it didn't really do much. Yeah. People were still doing it, flying through our lot, driving through the drive.
Which makes no sense because it'd be better to go
of Elkhorn Valley Bank. Can you believe that? Just fly right through the drive-through.
That's crazy.
Yeah, crazy.
People aren't patient at all.
I just don't understand going that way past your building when you could go back behind Godfather's there. It's quicker. Why are you turning?
That was pretty rugged back there. A lot of potholes. I think these people had gone this route before. And then the owners there actually put a bunch of barricades up, and every once in a while they get run through. But so they were trying to stop that traffic through there. But
you guys have a really cool building. I was in there the other day. It's really cool in there.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's nice and clean, and I like the colors on the wall.
Yeah, purple and green's our thing. Yeah, I've always been into horror movies and stuff.
Those are on the wall.
Yeah, the posters, movie posters and stuff. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So we didn't talk about that. Is that where the name Voodoo came from? It's just because you like how that happened?
This is crazy. Actually, this was before. I don't even remember if I was doing my apprenticeship when I saw this. Maybe I was. I was watching one of those motorcycle build shows on like Discovery, and it was one of those where they got to build a bike. And then they got to drive it to some event and they vote on it.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember one of the vendors was Voodoo something. And I thought, ooh, that'd be a cool name for a tattoo shop, Voodoo Tattoo. And it's It's actually, there's a lot of voodoo tattoos in the U.S. Yeah. So every once in a while we'll get a message from somebody, and I always check their Facebook profile picture from where they're at. And I mean, you realize we're in Nebraska, right? You know, we had someone call us up one time and they were like just pissed off. You know, I was supposed to have an appointment and such as there. And we're like, who are you talking about? And then I looked at their profile and I was like, oh, they were from like Wisconsin or Illinois. So it was something like that. And I go,
they just Googled voodoo tattoo. And clicked on the first one. Right. Some random one.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, yeah, we're in Nebraska. Oh no. And I was like, yeah, I think you're going to be late for your appointment. So
that's funny.
We do have that happen occasionally.
Yeah,
so
I'm sure.
But then again, I get some of these people that are from like strange places. You know, they'll say they're from like New York and I go, you realize they're in Nebraska? Oh yeah, I live there now. Or, they haven't changed, or they're going to school. You know, we've tattooed people from all over the world.
Yeah.
England, Australia, Germany.
And there's
we have a bunch.
Too many other tattoo places around. Is there around here?
There's actually quite a few.
Is there now?
I think there's 6 or 7.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it. I thought we were still on the low end. That's pretty cool though too.
Yeah, when I first started, I think there were 6.
Oh, really?
And then within that first year, there were just 2 of us.
Mm.
And it was that way for a long time. And then the last year or so,
kind of picked up a little bit.
Well, one shop was doing apprentices, and then things didn't work out. So then they split off and do their own thing. And
gotcha. Makes sense. So as long as you're good with all the tattoo and body piercing stuff, voodoo, everything about you, we're going to move on to some questions that we ask every guest that comes on.
Sure.
Okay with that? You got all your tattoo stuff out that you wanted to get out? We can always have you back on.
Sure. I would say that Norfolk is like an awesome place, to have a shop,
right?
Because it's such a hub for all the smaller communities are around, you know?
Yeah.
So that's been really, really beneficial, I think, to the business. I mean, I don't know that I could be in a better location than where we are at here. So
we say that a lot with this being how the people come from many different cities around here to Norfolk to do anything, get a tattoo, go to Walmart or wherever.
Right.
Makes sense. So with it being an election year, how do you feel about where the state of our country is right now? And do you feel that we are being well represented at the federal and state levels? Hard-hitting questions here on Touching Base.
All right. I'll give you a definite answer.
You want a beer now?
You want a beer now? I can get you a beer now. We're almost done if you want one now.
Yeah, I probably could go for one.
Okay.
I would say abso-fucking-lutely not. This country's in a shambles. I can't believe that we are in the situation that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely insane.
What do you feel needs to be done?
Well, this clown that's in office needs to go. I mean,
that'd be a start.
That'd be a start.
I don't know if everybody realizes that he's just a puppet.
Yeah.
And there's someone pulling the strings.
Yep.
Yeah. I have an idea who a few of these string pullers probably are.
Right.
But I have no proof.
Right.
And I don't know that we ever will, and it's.
The good thing is there's more and more people that are trying to find the truth for some of that stuff.
Yeah, hopefully. So, you're not going to find it on mainstream media. That's for sure. Because they're all bought and paid for already. Yep. So I think that we as a country are on the brink. We're right on the blade's edge. Mm-hmm. You could go one way or the other. Unfortunately, we were warned and have been warned since the end of World War II about communism, and that's what we've got going on.
Yeah,
I mean, it's pure and simple. The Liberal Party is not the party of, from the 50s or the 60s.
Right.
They were more conservative than anything that's going on now. Right. So it's pretty frightening.
Just new communism. They just keep trying to do it a different way.
We just call it something different. Yeah. So they instead of calling it the Democratic Party, they might as well just say it's the United States Communist Party and just get it over with. Be truthful.
Going into that, do you feel the systems that are in place still work in today's time? Talking about the two-party system.
Nope.
No.
Nope. And I think that they're both now cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
It's all about getting rich, insider trading. I mean, how can you go in and get elected and maybe you were making 100,000, maybe you're making, even you're making 250,000. All of a sudden now you're making $15 million,
I think it's 174,000
and change is what it is.
The average.
No, that's what they all get. That's what they get paid.
What they get paid, right?
They get 100.
I was just referring to someone.
Oh, before they got
going into the Senate, going into it.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, now
they're millionaires,
multimillionaires because they sit on all these committee meetings.
Well, they're making the regulations for all these companies that they get to go trade on.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You be quiet. Nancy Pelosi's husband is the greatest stock trader of all time.
Right?
He's good.
Yeah,
but it's all of them. It's on both sides. They all do.
Oh yeah.
Every one of them does it.
That's why they hate Trump so much. Because he didn't come up in politics, so he's not a good old boy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, the way it works, in my opinion, with these politicians is they all have dirt on each other.
Oh yeah.
Or you're in long enough that they get dirt on you, or they make dirt.
They make dirt on you.
Yeah, right. You might have the best intentions going into politics, but then
one night can end your.
You piss one guy off, and they're like, okay, he's not. This guy isn't following what's supposed, the way it's supposed to be done. So let's, it doesn't surprise me if they would set him up to take a fall, and then it's like, oh well, now here's the dirty little secret. So you're gonna toe the party line or whatever.
Or they just slide a picture of JFK across the table.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's just simple. Like, hey, we'll just take you out.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was referring to. It was like, this party is not the party of Kennedy. That's for sure. He wanted to, kind of amazing. He wanted to shut down the CIA, and
he's one of my favorite presidents.
And the powers that be said, no, that's not going to happen.
Right. We also think term limits would really help because, like you said, and we say this all the time, the longer you're in there, the worse and worse seems to get worse.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, that's the vision that was missed, I think, by the founding fathers. Well, because they never really expected anybody would do this that long. Because a civil servant then, you did it for free,
and it was only like 2 months.
Yeah,
so they'd be on the farm.
You weren't supposed to live there.
And you weren't supposed to live there. It wasn't a full-time job. Yeah, it was. You were a civil servant. You didn't get paid. You went down. You did what you did, what you believed in, and then you went back home and took care of business.
Right.
It wasn't meant to be a
job,
full-time job career. And so we needed when they made term limits after World War II. They needed to do it on the House and the Senate too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Agreed. Anything else you want to talk about on the federal government?
Oh God. Oh geez.
So we have another show called Useless Assumptions where we talk about all this kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So if you ever want to come on that one,
we'll have to do that.
Have you do a guest spot.
I'm full of
that one. We're not afraid of any topic.
Yeah, we can say anything on there. No topic is.
We put that one on Rumble.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, it's frightening the amount of corruption that's going on in our government right now, and I don't see a way out of it. Well, I see one way out of it, but it's not going to be pretty.
Cutting the head off at the top, bringing them all down.
Yeah. I mean, we'll have to take a page from the French Revolution and bust out the guillotines, I guess.
That's funny. So we'll get off that topic. I'm sure that was enough for you. Where do you see yourself going in the future? Are you enjoying where you are? Do you see yourself staying in Northeast Nebraska?
Yeah, I see myself staying here. I imagine I'll probably be tattooing till I, meet the maker. Other than, health issues. I would like to get into, streaming video games. I really suck. In fact, I've got paid for a .com thing. It's called, and I haven't done anything with it yet, but I plan on doing something. It's called I Suck Gaming. And I like to play games, but I'm not usually the best. So, and my wife frowns on it. Yeah.
Oh, that's okay.
So it's difficult. I got all the stuff. I just don't have everything, ready to go, and I don't get the play time that I would like. Mm-hmm. So, but if something was ever to happen, that's probably where I would like to get into is
streaming games is fun. Me and Cole do it.
Yeah, I love games.
Built this room for the podcast and to stream.
Nice.
That was kind of
I'm very impressed with your setup. Very cool.
Appreciate it. Brand new, and when was it finished? When did we start coming down here? March?
Probably sometime in there.
Sometime in March. So hasn't been too many episodes filmed down here yet.
It's supposed to be the end of January, then middle of February, and then
March. That's the way construction goes.
Yeah. So I play like Minecraft, Overwatch, just a few other games, Fallout.
Yeah.
Some sports games.
I've been lately Fallout 76.
Yep.
Helldivers.
Okay.
Hell Let Loose. World War II shooter.
Okay.
It's a lot of fun.
I've heard of that one. I don't know if I've picked that one up though.
That's a blast. The one we were on right now is Gray Zone Warfare. Have you heard of Escape from Tarkov?
Yeah.
It's like
I've
that,
heard of that. Yeah,
except
okay.
this is like in a Southeast Asian environment. It's cooler, I think.
It's awesome.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Well, maybe we'll have
so
to get
addictive.
together in game.
Absolutely.
That'd be a lot of fun. We can do a little stream together.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah. Cole, what have you been playing?
A lot of Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah.
A lot of it. Have you heard of that one, Tony?
Yeah. I've got clients, I love to talk games and movies and comics and stuff like that, music. And I have quite a few clients that play that. So
it's kind
I
of
think
the big
when I
game
was
right now.
younger too, I think I played Call of Duty with you a couple times, you and my dad.
Well, I wouldn't have been very good. So if it was console, I suck. So I can only play PC. I can't do the controller.
I can't go back to the console. I played it for years. I didn't start playing PC till, what would it have been, late 2019 or early 2020. And I can't pick up a controller now and play like a shooter.
See, I don't know if I could do it on a key, or I watch you guys on your keyboards and stuff. I was like, I don't know how you do it. I went to
you
the LAN party.
probably pick it up better than you think, but I can't do the joysticks anymore for shooting games.
Yeah, I can't. I'm always like up here, down here. And I don't know. I'm horrible.
Yeah, that's funny.
No, I only have one game I use a controller for. Everything else is keyboard and mouse.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I still play sports games with a controller, I guess, but
that's all I play. So that's probably why I couldn't do a keyboard. I'm all sports games.
That's funny. Well, maybe we'll have to bring you back on Useless, and we'll have to bring you back for like a gaming episode or something.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, you've done
You have to go to LAN. Do you do the LAN
You
parties?
should come to the LAN party.
He does LAN. He kind of runs the LAN party.
So we help with the Norfolk LAN party.
Yeah.
It's just a big gaming.
I'm familiar with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should come.
My cousin's son, I know, has gone a few times.
Yeah,
so
it's August 2nd this year.
Really?
Mm-hmm. We do it twice a year.
Cool.
Yeah. You have to come to that one. Got to bring your PC though.
He even got me involved in one this year. This last winter, I went and did that. And I did the Madden one. I bought Madden the day of the tournament just to play it.
Yeah.
He talked me into it. So I did it.
It was a lot of fun. It's a 2-day deal. We go from like 7 to 2 on the Friday, and then go from 8 till 7 or 8 on the Saturday.
Right.
It's kind of a full day of gaming. A lot of fun.
Wait, so when you're up that late, what do you playing?
I'm not up that late.
You're not up that late?
I leave early because I have to be back at 8 in the morning with my son to play Fortnite.
Yeah, because I was going to say, you guys selling meth or something?
No. Nope.
I think we left
an
at
old
like
fart.
midnight that night, or I think it was right around midnight when we
I
left
usually
on
leave
Friday.
early because they always put Fortnite at 8 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, and none of those guys come that early because they're the ones that are there that night. So I have to come and help set up for Fortnite and get my son there.
Right.
But it's not.
I think it was the second year we finished playing Call of Duty at like 5 a.m.
Yeah. We've gotten better. We've gotten better with the times, so
Yeah.
it's not that late.
Yeah.
Or you just don't play the game that runs late.
Right.
I've learned that myself.
Yeah. When my wife leaves town, she got a son that lives out in South Carolina, so she goes and visits. And when it's usually for a week.
Yeah.
And then that's
your
Tony let
gaming
loose.
time.
Yeah. It's
I'm gaming all night.
I'm gaming all night. And I remember I was supposed to pick her up at Omaha at the airport one morning. I don't know. I was supposed to be there like 10:30 or something. And I was like, okay, guys, that's enough. I don't know. I can do anymore. It was like 1. And they're like, oh, come on, pussy. It's your last night. So I think it was like 2:30. Oh my God. I was wiped out. That's
funny.
So.
Well, awesome. I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, I appreciate you inviting me. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's been fun. Well, like I said, we bring guests on all the time. So on our other shows, we'll have to bring you on, and you did really good.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. We'll
I
probably
learned more about tattoos than I ever knew. So
Yeah.
it was good.
That's why I wanted to bring you on. Like I just wanted. We do this very selfishly,
right?
Because we get to ask all the questions. So if there's something we want to know, we just get to ask.
Absolutely.
We don't care what the listeners want to hear.
Yeah.
It's like, well, it works for me.
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
They get what we want to know.
Exactly.
But other than that, we'll probably end it there.
Sounds good.
You're all right with that? So
Yeah.
We've almost been going for almost 2 hours. So
I can't believe it.
yeah,
Goes easy.
it goes pretty fast. But thanks to my co-host Vance Neidig and producer Cole Peterson. Without them, this show couldn't be what it is. And a huge thanks to Tony Meyer. We really appreciate you making time to come in today.
Hey, man, I had a great time. I'm really glad you guys invited me.
Yeah, definitely. Keep on the lookout for more great episodes, and we will see you guys next week.